This is the new Loki jacket from Valhalla Tactical. Let's do a breakdown. So quick overview, what is this jacket and what is the value of this jacket? This jacket is more of like a windbreaker design. It's extremely light and it's just kind of a very neutral cover garment that gives you access to a firearm when people don't realize you have access to a firearm. So how does that work? On the side two pockets, there's actually a fake pocket which your hand could slip into, and it could look like your hand is inside your pockets, but the reality is you actually could have your hand on your firearm. And the way it works is that if you wanted to do a quick draw of the firearm, the two sides of the jacket are connected with 3 snaps which pop out of the way when you actually get to the drawing motion. Now, there's a few things I'm going to speak about in regards to training habits and things you have to look out for if you decide that you want to buy this jacket, but that's kind of, again, the rough overview, so stick around because we have a lot to speak about. So it's a very lightweight material. It has a zipper in the front. It doesn't scream tactical. Even their logo, which is presented on the front of the jacket, is kind of a blacked out design. So again, I like when brands make that kind of low-key kind of perspective, no pun intended. But the idea is it doesn't scream gun, it doesn't scream tactical. It just looks like a regular windbreaker that anyone could be wearing throughout the day. The reason why I actually like this particular design is that even during the summertime when it might get really, really hot, the jacket is lightweight enough. It won't make you sweat like crazy. So you could still use that as a layer while you're walking around. And again, it doesn't scream anything overly tactical. In the wintertime, I would say that this would be a secondary layer because it is not like it's not meant to be particularly warm. It's primarily meant to just hide the intentions of where your hands are to be able to give you quicker access to your waistline. The design, again, is very simplistic. In the front, there's also a pocket where you'll be able to put whether it be your ID or anything else you might want to carry, and they have that on both sides. Other than that, that's pretty much it. It's a very simple jacket. I like that. I like the fact that there is not such a crazy amount put into it. It's meant to serve a very particular purpose, and it does that purpose very well, which is what I like. So now let's go into the different things you should be aware of if you decide you want to wear it. So the first thing when it comes to training, you're going to have to train a little bit differently, obviously, because this is a new system for you than you might conventionally carry when it comes to appendix. So something I noticed, which is something that took me a little bit of time to train, and I'm still getting used to it, is that ultimately what you're doing is that you're kind of pushing and punching through the jacket itself to get a proper sight presentation when the gun comes all the way out. The only issue, not issue, but something you have to be, again, wary about is that when you do that pop motion, the front of the jacket, again, it kind of has like a clamshell design where it folds open. That clamshell could almost hit you in the face, where it's not going to hurt you, obviously, but the idea is that you kind of flinch because something is like coming flying towards your face. So you want to kind of get used to the motion of when you pop it, being aware that that's going to happen and just making sure to get over it, because you don't want to start shooting, obviously, until you get a proper sight picture and making sure that you're actually clear of the garment entirely so it's actually safe to fire. The other two like smaller critiques I would have with this jacket is, again, I like the design. The simplicity works out perfectly. The two things that I noticed, which again, you have to be careful about, is that the slip pocket, meaning the pocket that your hands could go into to actually have access to your waistline, when you're sitting in a car or when you're walking around, it could kind of puff out. The reason why it might puff out is because it's kind of just an open pocket. So the issue that comes about is that when you're in public, you just need to be wary of if it opens up too much and you have your gun on the outside of your shirt, because again, it's still concealed legally because the jacket is what's covering it. You don't want that your grip would be able to be seen from a side angle, which could ultimately be a problem. My personal recommendation would be, if they do want to make a modification, would be to add additional snaps to those particular spots. I don't think the zipper route would be the right route to go, because in regards to ease of access, it would slow it down if you have to unzip it, then put your hands in, versus similar to a situation where you're reaching into your pocket. If it's just a snap, I don't think it would make as much of a notice as opposed to a zipper, which you'd have to undo on both sides. So I say follow the same design that you already have, add additional snaps to those pockets so it closes up the jacket itself. If you need to, just pop it in. I don't think it would be that big of a deal, but that's just my initial thoughts on that particular part. The other thing, which was a little bit more of something that needs to be watched out for, the upper area of the jacket where the flap connects to. So it opens up again like this, and then there's like 2 points of contact for the top of the jacket. When I was training very aggressively, meaning you should be training aggressively, because if this is something you're actually going to start carrying, you need to run it really hard to make sure that it works for you and it's actually applicable and in serious use, you can rely on it. So I kept punching out and punching out and punching out. And at one point I punched it just right that I actually tore both sides of the upper area of the jacket. Now, again, in my opinion, if they come out with the 2.0, it's a very simple fix where they could just add additional stitching on the top upper area, because that's clearly going to be a point of strain where the jacket keeps popping and having contact or force against that particular spot. So I would say, other than those two details, the jacket works out, again, perfectly for me. Another small note I would say, this fits like more of an athletic fit, which means I would recommend going up one size than you'd usually wear to make sure you get proper fitment. This jacket, I believe, is one size up from what I wear, and it fits very snug around your body. Again, printing is not really that big of a deal because if you have your hands in your pocket or in general wearing jackets, it covers it up a little bit more. So I'm not really concerned about that in particular. Another small feature that it has, which I think is really nice, is that the cuffling area of the actual hands are kind of an elastic, which means it kind of fits tighter to your hand, which I do like because I don't want that to get in the way of my draw or kind of have a floppy, like open and close kind of thing where it might go up your arm and down your arm. It stays pretty consistent in the spot that it's in, and it works well exactly, again, for what it is. So other than those two details in regards to the stitching on the upper area and potentially snaps in the pocket, I think it's a very simple and great design. I'm able to get really quick draws, and I'm sure able to do a lot more practice. I actually put out a video on Instagram not too long ago, and the majority of the reactions I got were very intrigued by this design. But in regards to fitment itself, I would say going one size up would probably be a little bit more comfortable. I'd love to do more testing with this. If you guys have any questions about the jacket itself or things that you'd like to see in regards to the jacket's performance, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you to Valhalla Tactical for sending this out. If you guys have any questions about the jacket, I'll leave a link in the description down below. This is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com. Thank you for watching.